Welcome. Welcome to the 2024 Behavioral Health Policy Summit. I'll be your host this morning, one of them. I'm Seth Winick, and I'm director of the Texas Coalition for Healthy Minds. And we have been planning this event for, I don't know, seems like forever. It's really only been about a year or so, and we're really excited to have you here today and are looking forward to what we hope will be a productive and engaging day. In a few minutes, I'm going to bring forward our co-host, Dr. Martinez, who's the leader of the Hogg Foundation for Mental Health. I will tell you that he doesn't know this because we're not really friendly. We know each other, professional colleagues, kind of, not really. He's credentialed, I'm not. But I have a nickname for Dr. Martinez, and it took me a while to figure out that, frankly, he's the godfather of mental health mafia. I mean, the Hogg Policy Fellows Program. Did I say mental health mafia? I have been with the coalition for 4 years now, and when I came to this work, I had no idea that there were these people called fellows, and there was this thing called an academy, and it took me a while to figure out it's really a massive mental health policy syndicate with trauma-informed tentacles that stretch far and wide through organizations all across the state. I had no idea that this was an underground thing. So for those of you who are not part of the Policy Fellows, like me, you'll figure this out. And I realize we're outsiders. I just want to, just quickly, if you're a former Hogg Fellow, would you stand? If you're a former Hogg Fellow. Okay. I'm not going to list all the organizations that they're a part of, but they've grown up and gone into the behavioral health field. If you're a current Hogg Fellow, if you're in the current fellow class, would you wave and stand? So if you're not a fellow like me, it's okay, just do what they say and usually everything will be fine. Our coalition has benefited so substantially through the partnership we have with the Hogg team, particularly the leadership of Allison Mulborware. She's a director of policy for Hogg. Allison has been an essential leader in our coalition, and we've counted on her for longer than I've been a part of it. And we're going to hear from him in a minute, but I just simply wanted to start this morning off recognizing Hogg. They've provided the funds for this summit. They've made this day possible. We're very grateful for that contribution, everything else you do to support the coalition, and the things you do to support behavioral health policy for Texans. Thank you so much. That's me, in case you were wondering. I also want to recognize Methodist Healthcare Ministries. They are the founding underwriter for the Texas Coalition for Healthy Minds. They're also the technology sponsor for today. You will notice, and this is your notice, that our breakout sessions, this session is being recorded, and it's not just because we're creepy. We are going to develop video vignettes of each of the sessions, and thanks to our friends at MHM, we'll have on our website a summit page so that our friends who couldn't make it today, or if you just wanted to see what went on or remind yourself of something, you'll be able to go back and visit the summit and attend it virtually. So a shout out to Methodist Healthcare Ministries. Has Sarah checked in yet? Is Sarah here? Sarah is new with the MHM team. Welcome. We're delighted to have you. And will you let your folks in San Antonio know that we're really grateful for the support they've given us over the decade that they've been involved and really helping us launch. I want to just briefly describe, if I can advance it, and there we can. For those of you that are new to the work of the coalition, or for those that aren't affiliated with us at all, I just want to briefly describe how we do our work. You will see that we have 5 policy work groups. The breakouts that you attend today, the panel conversation that we're just about to have in a few minutes, are led by, and the work that we do is created and mostly managed in our policy work groups. And so they are chaired, each of those work groups, by 2 organizations. Those are volunteer roles that people do in addition to their day job. And then we use a steering committee above them that is each of those chairs that I just mentioned of the work groups. We have, I think, 3 other at-large member organizations, and that's our steering committee. They call balls and strikes. They, help manage the affairs of the coalition, make sure that we're on the right track. We're using a values-based decision model that builds consensus. And so our steering committee is about 14 people. And then we have a troika of co-chairs. We have a co-chair that deals with the behavioral health side of our policy world, a co-chair that deals with our substance use disorders. You're going to meet all these folks in just a little bit. And then these little squares over here are the fractional folks. I serve as the director. We have a comms manager, and we have half of a fellow. She's really a full fellow, let's be clear about that, but we share her with NASW Texas, and so we're excited to have Nicole on our team. So this is how we're structured, and I want to say, and this may sound a little strange, but I just want to lay it out there. In the 4 years that I've come involved, when the coalition was first getting going, we shared a lot of information. We had really a safe space that we were providing for one another. We updated each other on what was going on in our respective organizations. And bit by bit, we started to advocate. And I would say, fast forward to today, we really focused on policy and affecting change at the Capitol and in state agencies, and that's our job. So if you, through the course of today, are with an organization that's not been active with the coalition, we would love to have you. Talk to one of our steering committee members, pull me aside, we would love to have you. However, we want you to pull the wagon. You come and work in this coalition. We don't have a lot of voyeurs. We don't have a lot of folks that just get to watch. We put you to work. If you're not working, you kind of fall by the wayside and go, well, I'm not getting emails anymore. We are really focused on affecting behavioral health policy bit by bit. So if that sounds like the group for you, come talk to us. We'd love to have you join us. We've got about 43 members of the coalition now, and it's diverse. It's provider groups, it's patient advocates, it's family members, it's individuals that have lived experience. We've just assembled this coalition over the years, and we continue to grow it slowly and find like-minded organizations that want to come together and build consensus around an agenda. I do want to say that we have 10 organizations that serve as resource members. Our resource members are integral to the work we do, but that does not include lobbying, and it doesn't include voting on our policy agenda. We rely on our resource members as partners in research, in public education, in helping us understand what the gold standard practice is here in Texas, out across the country. And so we also have resource members that are really on the front lines of delivering the things that we're trying to impact at the Capitol. And so they keep us honest by saying, this is how it really works. Here's what you're doing, but here's how it really impacts us in the field. So we're very thankful to have resource members. When we put together this summit, we just have some simple goals for today. We first want to share kind of what the coalition's agenda is, at least our thinking as of today, October 10th. We've got some time before the legislature, but we've got the broad strokes of what we think our priorities will be for the coming session. But as important as that work is, we also want to hear from you. This is an opportunity for us to share what we're thinking about, but today is an opportunity for you not only to react and respond to the concepts that you hear from members of the coalition, but to make sure you speak up and lend your voice to the concerns that you have, the policies your organizations may be working towards, the advocacy that you're most concerned about. So we really do want to know and learn your priorities. One of the reasons we're doing the recordings is so that we can capture and understand priorities, and we're going to form a summary that we want to provide not only to you as participants, but to be able to use with policymakers as we move forward and prepare for next session. So we're going to synthesize today's dialogue into a summary. And then finally, just to build a stronger community and network with one another. This is a fascinating and a really rewarding area of policy to work in, and it's also really hard. You're going to see some resources during the summit as you get into the breakouts. These kind of briefs are our kind of beginning focus of how we frame our issues and the way we talk about them. These are a work in progress. You're the first folks to kind of get a peek at them. They represent the work we've done to date, this interim preparing for next session, and we'll continue to refine them as time marches on and we get closer to January. So make sure in your breakouts to take those briefs with you. I just want to share a couple of thoughts about what I think is on the horizon. It is hard for me to say this, but this will be the 34th year that I've prepared for the Texas legislature. It'll be my 17th session working in Texas, and I'm not really sure what to say about that. Math is hard, and you can do hard things, and so here we are. Over the last couple sessions, I am routinely asked, what can we achieve in Texas? Can you really get anything done there? I go to D.C. frequently, and people say, gosh, it seems like the divisions are it's impossible. What are you guys doing? The divisions between the House and the Senate, the divisions in the Republican caucus, let alone Democrats and Republicans, the divide is pretty large. People say, how is it possible to get anything done? Last session, the coalition set its sights on a relatively modest agenda, and we achieved about 64% of that agenda. We increased funding for the mental health professional loan repayment program. We improved access. Yeah, let's hear about it. That's not bad. 28 large ones. I don't know, 3-4 times increase. Again, I'm bad at math. Math is hard. We improved access to medication for justice-involved individuals who are awaiting competency restoration. But we expanded the voluntary accreditation program for recovery housing, and we also, come on, we're a behavioral health crowd. We've got to equally support everybody. Come on now. Some positive reinforcement. Don't leave the SUD people hanging out there like that. And we boosted funding for community mental health centers to get more dollars available for children's mental health services. And we talked about school safety a lot. We talked about youth mental health. We talked about what it takes to have a climate in schools across the state that's productive and conducive and where kids want to be and feel safe when they're there. So I'll just be honest. Of the wins, are these earth-shattering, mind-bending, hugely transformative policy gains? No. But they are real wins, and they impact people's lives for the better. It's incremental progress in what is undoubtedly a difficult and hard political and policy environment. And in the process of doing that work and pressing forward, we educate lawmakers and their staffs, no matter their perspective or party. We keep our head down. We make the case. We do the work. And if we don't do that work, then who steps into that gap and speaks up, educates, and offers the good solutions? So heading into this session, whatever difficulty we thought we might have encountered last year might possibly seem like your favorite podcast now, or maybe the most binge-worthy show that you're watching. I don't care if this is your first session or your 18th session or somewhere in between. I can say with confidence that we're heading into unusual circumstances. We've lost a tremendous amount of history and policy chops with a number of the departing House members. Look, it's part of the process. Leaders come and go. Some are defeated. Others retire. The circumstances are different, but the result is the same. We start again. We make new friends. We share our stories. We provide data. We make our case. We do the work. And it's not easy, but it's frankly the promise that we've made to one another, sacred or otherwise, to give voice to each other and to speak up for those that aren't in the room. This session, you'll notice that the coalition's focus is more squarely on appropriations and the budget. Now, is this because we're super smart mathematicians? No, I think I've established math is hard. But we're looking at funding because, frankly, it's the only bill that must pass. They got to make a budget. Take them a long time, but they got to do it. We'll work on legislation. I'm not saying we're taking our eye off that ball, but at the end of the day, we're looking at funding because we know that's the one bill that everyone's got to get done before they can go home. This coalition is a good place to do this work because collectively, we can make the difficult incremental policy progress together in ways that would be much harder if we chose to go it alone. I'm very happy to do this work with you. I'm really excited to spend this day with you, and I'd like to welcome Dr. Martinez. And again, thank you so much for the support you've given the coalition.